this a
We've got a
quorum?
quorum.
Oh, okay. When two or three are gathered.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and call it to order.
Okay.
Do we have any, do I need to approve the minutes or anything?
I think that's agenda 3A.
Okay.
On this one. No. 3A.
Okay.
Got it.
Do we have any public comments? No?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes from the advisory board meeting on May 26, 2026.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's approved.
Should be next slide.
Okay. No?
New cemetery administrative assistant. Okay.
Yes. Do we have a report on the new assistant?
You say, Amanda, or you, Victor, want to talk about it?
Good afternoon, board members. I just want to present to you our new administrative assistant, Cinda Landers. This is her third week starting with us, and she is picking up and taking names, and we are proud to have her, and I'm happy to have her as well.
Will the hours remain the same?
The hours will remain the same that are posted on the door, yes.
Okay.
There's been no change.
And you're taking over for Sherry?
Yes,
Okay.
the new administrative assistant. Sherry has retired.
And did all her work get done putting in the data?
No.
Okay.
You mean the migration error project?
Yeah.
No. That is something that we're going to continue to work on ourselves.
Okay. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good to be here.
Look forward to seeing you out at the cemetery.
Yes, absolutely.
Do we have any updates on the cemetery projects?
Thank you, Vice Chair and Board. So we're going to do our updates in two separate parts. So I'm going to talk about some operational and administrative project updates, and then Victor's going to do more of the aesthetic and actual cemetery project updates. So I'm going to kind of go off of the list that you'll see on your screen in front of you there. So the first one is just to discuss that we are right now in the time of year where we will do fee structure changes, and that's something that we talked about at our last advisory meeting. So there are some changes to our fee structure. A lot of the changes is more of transparency-oriented changes. So we did have a lot of packages with a dollar figure associated, and so now what you'll see is more of a breakout. So a little bit more transparency for us, for new staff coming on board, for the community coming in. One of the main things that you'll see that's changed is we have added services like pallbearer services, so that is now on our fee structure. That was a huge time commitment for our staff, and that was something that we were doing sometimes on a whim without a lot of information, and so now that gives them a little bit ability to plan and provide better services for the community. Those changes will be approved through the budgetary process, and they will become effective on October 1.
Okay.
Any questions about those?
When you did that work, were any changes made to increase revenue to the cemetery, or?
Well, so this will increase revenue some, but a lot of our fee structure right now, we didn't do a lot of increase or decrease. We did remove some services that were kind of obsolete, that really should be being done by contractors, things like sodding and stuff like that, but we did not do anything to drive revenue per se.
I was going to say, is the increased revenue enough to cover inflation?
So I will kind of address the bottom one here, which is the pay at time of service, and that is something that we have changed. I'll just kind of skip to that one. So right now, our open and close fees can be invoiced, prepaid in advance. That is where a lot of auditing and financial burden has been placed on many departments, including inflation costs that really affect us when it comes time to actually perform the services, because it could be decades down the road. So what we are doing now is eliminating that. So now it will be at need invoicing.
So I couldn't pay for my wife's funeral in the future?
So you can pay for your lot fees if you do a columbarium and things like that. They're like your plaques and stuff. All of that will be done at the time that you purchase, but your open and close fees now will be done at the time of need. Outside of that, if I go back to the first two are some that we just addressed. The closing of the chapel has been in pretty poor shape, and Victor can, if you want more information about that, he can speak to a little bit more of the context on the condition itself. But it is in poor condition. It takes a lot to keep it going, and it's really not utilized by the public very often. We have talked with funeral homes and things like that. All of them provide this service. We think that's probably why we don't end up using ours very often. So the turnover and the commitment, and then the actual facility itself, as far as what you're experiencing when you're there, is just not to the condition that we would want it to be in for our community. So because of that, the chapel for the public is closed at this time.
Right now?
Yes.
Forever?
For right now, yes. We have had a contractor come in. I'm sorry.
Are you just gonna let it disintegrate?
No. So we did have a contractor come in. Victor recently spoke to them so that we could get a true assessment of what that looked like. Our next step in that process is going to be to do an abatement survey. Ultimately, based on the conditions that we find as far as our experience with the building and then the contractor itself, it has to come down. So ultimately, it will need to come down, and we will need to explore, do we build a pavilion or something like that in its place in the future? Do we rebuild a chapel? But that's going to be a long-term strategic planning move. Right now, we're just focused on the abatement and the survey of what the structure is right now.
Will there be a restroom?
Yeah, so the restroom that's in there right now, it has a lot of plumbing issues and failures, and that's part of the problem of it. So as the chapel itself is closed, the restroom there is closed as well.
My mistake. I meant, is there going to be a restroom now added someplace then?
That is not something that we've talked about. It can definitely be something that we explore. Keeping in mind that that was not an open facility generally. It was open on a funeral service basis as far as the restroom goes. But we can definitely have those conversations.
How good is the administration building then?
The administration building, as far as we're aware, now we haven't actually had somebody to come in and look at it, but the building, as far as the administration building, is fine. Outside of the HVAC will need to be addressed in the near future, but we are aware of that. And then the last thing there is going to be our burial services. So some of the information that we've provided to you at some of the past meetings has been that we are trying to move more towards industry standards. We're doing a lot of things that are not aligned with traditional practices for cemetery operations. And what I mean by that, as far as our burial supplies, is we are actually going to a manufacturer, the vendor that sells the liners that go into the ground. And we are purchasing those in bulk, which means we have a lot of money in our budget that allows us to purchase these in bulk. We have a storage space on site where we're storing these, and then we use our equipment to lift these heavy liners and take them out, which that is a time commitment in itself. It's a burden on our equipment. Our equipment is very old. So we have reached out to these local vendors as well as funeral homes, and we have coordinated with all of them to, traditionally the industry standard is that the funeral home will reach out to these vendors, and the vendors will come out and drop that off to us into the hole. And so that's how we're operating now. It's going well. We haven't had any issues with it. That saves us time commitment as far as actually getting it to the hole, which is great for staffing. It saves our equipment. We are in the process now of requesting new equipment, so once that is hopefully approved, then we'll be on a really good track moving forward as far as what that looks like for sustainability and operations. And then in addition to that, we'll have extra storage space on site. We'll save the money in our budget that we would normally push out to this. So it kind of really streamlines things for us.
Who does that work? People like Colonial?
That would be a question Victor would have to answer for you.
Who does that work?
We have 3 vendors, Doric out of Grapevine. Then we have Wise on the east side of Bonham, and Wilbert based out of Dallas. So they're the ones that actually come and set the vaults and set their greens and lowering device. And they can either order a concrete liner or a metal box with concrete insulated in it.
And they have a lift on their truck? Or
Yes,
whatever?
they actually have a piece of equipment. It's called a dolly buddy that actually is on wheels with a generator, and it's easily maneuvered over the grave and placed right there on the lowering device.
What was called a vault? Is that what you're,
The vault is the box.
Yeah.
Is the outside container.
and that's what you all used to carry?
Yes,
Have on site, I mean,
yes.
yeah, okay.
Who pays for those liners? Is that part of
We were paying upfront for them in bulk. Like Amanda said, we had a GL code that was for that line item. But then we would turn around and bill either the family if they were not going through a funeral home, or bill the funeral home as a whole.
So now, rather than trying to recoup that money with the burial fees, the family then will pay for it from the funeral?
And that is something that around North Texas, about 99% of these cemeteries were doing.
So that's a savings you have by no longer providing this service.
Correct. We will house 1 or 2 in case of emergency. The people coming from Grapevine, Doric had a flat tire. We'll have 1 or 2 on standby in case of emergency. But yes, that is something that these vendors know what to do. They go to West Hill, Cedar Lawn, they know exactly what to do.
For all the other things, having gone to the several funerals out there, the tent, I don't know what you call the fake grass that you lay down there.
Greens.
All those nice chairs, all that will still continue.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, like Amanda was saying earlier, that is broken down in the fee schedule, so that way it's transparent on what each line item
Make sure that's
costs.
service.
Absolutely, yeah.
And as far as the budget, having gone to the budget offsite and eagerly awaiting the budget that'll be presented on the 22nd of September, what pieces of equipment either were or are, like the new backhoe, the other things, are in there, and how can we as the advisory committee get to the city council so we can go a different route than you, having to go through staff lines to argue, probably not this year, but for next year's budget?
So we put in this year for cemeteries a Bobcat. That's what we put in. We know that we're in some pretty budget challenging times, and so we felt like that was very crucial for us because ours is very old. It's got a lot of hours on it. It's heavy wear and tear. We use it daily, weekly. And that has been a consistent top contender the entire time that finance has presented those, and they will come to city council periodically. Lori Ossabaugh, the director of finance, she will come and present on that, and that's been a very top contender this entire time because she knows that we've requested this multiple years in a row, so we feel very confident. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen.
So you're filming that piece in, even though the $300,000 for the road work and all this stuff is not?
Correct, yeah. No, that, we did submit that as well. It just didn't make the top. So,
Maybe we ought to be go to the council and ask to be heard.
On the September 22nd, I am.
Yeah, very good.
that was all of the administrative and operational updates I have. If you have any questions about any of that, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
I have one more. Do we do the same type of an update for the other 4 city cemeteries? Another Magnolia, for Kaufman, for Iron Ore?
Like in including them in this, or, I'm sorry.
Do we ever address each cemetery individually like this?
Whenever we're doing these updates for y'all, we will normally pick the things we feel like are most high on our list as far as priorities for y'all to know or for us to get your advice. If you want to see something that is like specific to an individual area, we can definitely address that. We are out at all of them every week on a consistent basis doing different things. We have stuff going on at Magnolia, Oakwood, Iron Ore, and Fairview all this week alone. So we can definitely always do that. It's just obviously Fairview is much more active, and so you get a lot more information on that.
So we do our due diligence as the cemetery advisory board. I think it doesn't all have to be at the same time or at every meeting, but a cemetery per meeting, you're gonna have to have one, you're gonna have to have 2 at one.
Sure, you just want to see more updates on those.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely, we can do that for you.
So we can make sure that we're looking at it now.
Yes,
I normally drive out and take a look at the place before you come in, so I would look at Iron Ore, or I'd look at Oakwood, or I'd look at whatever.
yes, absolutely, we can do that.
How many cemeteries are active that you actually do new burials in?
We do burials in Magnolia, Oakwood, and Fairview. We only sell out of Fairview. That's correct, right?
Correct.
But Kaufman up back there behind Chick-fil-A and Iron Ore up there behind the hospital,
Yes,
they have to maintain.
we do. Victor will do your operational updates outside of that.
So moving on to ops, we were able to hire a contractor who came out and remove the plaque off the wall, the back of the wall, as you can well see. It looks like any construction job, but it was well patched and well taken care of. And a pole was erected with the plaque on it, slightly angled to where people leaving the cemetery can view it. And we've had many offline comments on letting us know what a good job that took place.
Yes, I'm very happy.
Just, I would have hoped that we had the gate go the other way, or when we put it up, that we put it on the other side.
Another lawn project that I've been meaning to do with the staff out there was maintain the Garden of Tranquility. Prior staff, superintendents and foremen and other managers were able to piece it together, but throughout time, just like anybody's house, weeds will attack it. So as you can see on the left here picture here, weeds everywhere, out of place. So we went and tilled it, pulled all the weeds manually by hand, picking up every pebblebrook, laid massive amounts of weed barrier, and we put mulch down, and we maintained it by using fertilizer in the correct areas, trimmed it nice and neat, trimmed the backing of the bushes and the trees that are surround the whole Garden of Tranquility, and made it just pop.
Where is that located?
In the back where you go to
See
my
the
shop,
Maintenance shed.
to the maintenance shed back
In the southwest corner?
southwest, yes, sir.
Okay, I paid for one place, but I'll request, don't put that red,
This is this is the mulch that we swapped out with yours. Do you remember the red that we had to remove?
yeah,
This,
but, okay, this has been replaced, this red that I'm seeing.
no, that is the reason. This
So
is the
you
final
reused
product.
it to save money?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Recycle.
But I paid for it to be done.
For, in the Garden of Tranquility?
No, the one up.
In
by
the front,
in
the two front flower beds.
I said, take it out, I'll replace it.
We had placed brown mulch and didn't like it. She paid for it to be replaced. So I bagged those up and put them over a tarp.
Well, don't buy any more of the red, okay?
Is there something wrong with the red, if I may ask?
Yes, it doesn't lend itself to a lawn or a cemetery or whatever. It's decorative. It's not,
Especially some denominations, red is not the good color in the cemetery.
not.
But I applaud you for recycling it.
My,
and saving
it's my
dollars.
5th year, and that's the only color we ever used, but we will
Yeah.
consider that.
Well, I understand
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah, oh yeah, this is recycled mulch.
I commend you, it really looks nice. Now.
Thank you.
My next question is I know Reese Across America uses the plug that's in there. Last year it didn't work, so is that electric plug that's in there?
We have hot wired, we have hot wired in now.
Good.
This is the north corner of 8491, which we have taken to the next level of cleaning up because that area was overgrown. And I understand that some other places on the north side might be overgrown as well. But this was a priority for me because it didn't complement the fence that just got placed. So obviously, we have you, the board, to thank for that. But I took the whole vegetation away from the fence and tilled it, seeded it, watered it, and you can see how it looks now, day and
Yeah, I hope
night.
that grass comes back, but it looks really nice. Good job, Victor.
Thank you. And that concludes the
Victor,
ops.
were you and I drove around the whole cemetery and flagged all those trees. Were you-
Yes, Kurt and I, we discussed before the meeting on something that we're gonna try.
For the rest of the advisory committee, if you remember from last meeting, Brian Hander was here and he was talking about a history behind the stones that is gonna happen in October. I'm gonna be a part of that too. Their idea, which is really nice, the Red River Railroad Museum, which is sponsoring it, said, hey, wouldn't it be nice if we could kind of co-join those things and have people who are gonna be in clients to customers could also have a chance to sponsor a dead tree, to be able to help pay for this, because the money is not in the budget to take down those trees. Something else that we'll be talking about September 22nd. But, so what we're going to do next week is I'm gonna have a meeting with them on behalf of the Red River Railroad Museum to talk about how it is we might set this up so that we can gather some dollars for people sponsoring a tree to take down a dead tree.
Well, that was my concern about, well, we'll talk about that tour, that we didn't have a chance to do some of this before the tour
Yeah.
was scheduled, but that's hindsight.
It is. We'll just have the survey done by next week. It would be helpful for me, since I don't think there's any other agenda items. First of all, great job by Troop 405 on Memorial Day, putting out the flags for the veterans and then taking them up the week after that. I think we will, so this is August, September, October, November. We will meet one more time before Reese Across America, where again, we'll be putting wreaths at the veterans' grave sites, and that, hence, I was asking for that plug there. History behind the stones is gonna be October 24th. Talked about the council, and talked about the other things we needed. So we got a Bobcat in the budget, but not 300,000 for the roads. And I do appreciate at least discussing each one of the 5 cemeteries that the city is responsible for.
We can definitely do that. For next meeting, we'll have plenty of pictures
Your choice.
of plenty of work that we did at Oakwood.
Yeah, well, Oakwood Iron Ore, I will tell you, having been responsible for putting up the historic marker at Iron Ore, the before and after pictures were amazing.
Yeah, we stayed on top of that, for sure.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many years have gone by that we've neglected so much of this. I'm as guilty as anybody else until I had some loved ones out there, then I started paying attention, you know, and, but I think it's just behooves us as a city to pay attention to all these cemeteries that we're responsible for.
Yeah, that'd be something else that I would wonder. Is there ever any time where the Cemetery Advisory Committee provides a report or provides an update to the city council?
We're just,
I will
No.
probably ask whoever the new city manager is, that at a otherwise low-key city council, that once a year at least, the Cemetery Advisory Board provides an update.
So since I have been here, I do not know of anything that's official. What I will say is if you ever want to do, kind of like what we done on the second part of the meeting today, is like a staff update or a project update, things like that, where you're just talking to them about your concerns or things like that. Like, we can always coordinate. There are different situations and times where we can put that kind of stuff, work with Chris Wallentine or Chris Clerk on potentially putting that on there. And then also, you're always welcome to email and definitely have those conversations as well. If you have a report that y'all feel like you want to put together and share, something that's more tangible, you can do that as well. It's just not something that has been done to my knowledge.
What I'm bringing is in the same way that I'm associated with both planning and zoning
Mhm.
and with the Historic Preservation Board, we are now doing that too, because we're a city board.
Yeah.
We're supposed to advise the
Mhm.
city council on it, and it was set up this way. There's nothing that you all are doing or not doing that is wrong.
Mhm.
It's just that our job supposedly is also to advise the city council.
Sure.
And right now, that is not being done.
Mhm.
And it may have to start by going through the city manager first, and then maybe, hopefully, talk to either Christine or Karen and be able to get on as an agenda item.
Yes.
And it should be a fairly quick one, and I would not want to make it on a consent agenda item. I would like to make it a separate one
Sure.
where we actually provide a report. And probably us and one of you
Mhm.
be the speakers in front of the city council, because if they can't hear us, they can't listen to us.
I gotcha.
And
Yes.
therefore, I want to be able to advocate for getting the roads fixed, making sure the bridges don't fall in, taking down trees. You know, I don't want to have to wait until the Bobcat is broken to be able to get another one, kinds of things.
Yeah.
And that's what I see our job is up here.
Keeps it on their radar.
Yes, exactly. Well, there they come again. Okay, I'm glad you got to listen to us.
that's
I
right.
agree. I'm all in favor of that.
Yeah, I mean, it started with the fence, and I think we can continue.
Yes, I agree.
Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the last agenda item, Mr. Chair.
Okay. No one else has anything? Well, then I'll move for adjournment.
I'll second that.